The Integumentary System by Danielle Allain. It is also known as the skin and is composed of the epidermis, the dermis, and the hypodermis. The epidermis protects the dermis by preventing water loss and restricting pathogens from entering. Sensory in the epidermis can detect touch, pressure, pain, and temperature. The dermis lies within the cutaneous membrane and includes the papillary layer, which nourishes and supports the epidermis, along with the reticular layer, which also has sensory receptors. The hypodermis is located below the epidermis and the dermis, and it is made up of areolar tissue and adipose tissue, causing it to be elastic. It is not a part of the integument, but it stabilizes organs and skeletal muscles. When skin is exposed to heat capacity, it triggers sweat glands. Heat capacity is when heat is transferred to an object and the temperature of the object raises. A sweat gland is a duct in which sweat can be excreted in two different ways, which are through apocrine sweat glands, which occurs in the armpits, around the nipples, and in the pubic area. These glands are sticky, cloudy, and can produce odor. Also through merocrine sweat glands, which discharge directly onto the surface of the skin. There are a lot more merocrine glands than there are apocrine glands. This happens through sensible perspiration, which is when moisture appears on the skin when there is a change of humidity. Within the skin are water molecules, which are 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. The polarity of water molecules causes hydrogen bonds, which is the bond between a chemical that has a covalent link with another atom. The integumentary system consists of 5 layers, which are the stratum corneum, the stratum lucidum, the stratum granulosum, the stratum spinosum, and the stratum germinativum basale. The stratum corneum usually consists of 15 to 30 layers of keratinized cells. It is at the surface of thick and thin skin. This happens through insensible perspiration, which is water loss that you are unable to feel or see. This occurs through evaporation, which is when something dissolves. Stratum lucidum is a clear layer that covers the stratum granulosum within the thick skin of the palms and soles of the feet. They are flattened and without organelles, but are filled with keratin, which is a tough, fibrous protein, and it is the basic structural component of hair and nails in humans. The stratum granulosum is superficial to the stratum spinosum and is also known as the grani layer. It has 3 to 5 layers of keratinocytes that come from the stratum spinosum. Keratinocytes dominate the epidermis because they are the most abundant epithelial cells. There is a lot of protein within the several layers that the cells form. It stops dividing and starts producing keratin. Stratum spinosum, also known as the spiny layer, is produced by basale layers and the cells are pushed up. It consists of 8 to 10 layers of keratinocytes that are forced together by desmosomes. The stratum germinativum basale is the deepest layer of the epidermis and has hemidesmosomes that attach to the cells and separates the epidermis from the areolar tissue and dermis. It contains melanocytes, which releases melanin and protects the skin from UV radiation, and is responsible for the pigment of the skin. It is located in stratum basale and are deep within epithelial cells. Ultraviolet radiation is UV radiation that can cause damage to the DNA and cause cancer to develop. There are 2 things that assist in protecting the skin, and that would be cholecalciferol and cholesterol. Cholecalciferol is also known as vitamin D3. The liver converts the vitamin into an intermediary product to form a hormone called calcitriol. Cholesterol serves as a protective agent in the skin and in the nerve cells and detoxes the bloodstream. That is the integumentary system.